Our next inductee has artfully captured the American West through her paintings of enchanting forests and animals, as well as beautiful depictions of Native American ceremonial figures. I'd like you to now meet Pop Chalee.
2021 Cowgirl Hall of Fame honoree, Pop Chalee. Pop Chalee believed that walking in beauty revealed truth, and she poured her impressions of that into her art. She devoted herself to a type of painting style that was flat, which she felt best showcased her Native American culture. Injected with lighthearted, joyful touches that spoke to her personality, her work appealed to a wide audience. Born Marina Lujan in 1906, she spent her childhood between her mother in Utah and her father in Taos Pueblo. Her Taos grandmother gave her the name Pop Chalee, which translates to blue flower, and is how she was known to her family and known as an artist. Chalee married Otis Hopkins and had 2 children, Jack Cruz and Betty. Chalee began her career as an artist at the age of 29 when she enrolled in the Santa Fe Indian School Art Department under the tutelage of Dorothy Dunn. Dunn mainly taught a style of Native American painting that is two-dimensional, and Chalee embraced the style as a model for her own work. A late bloomer onto the emerging Native American art scene in the 1930s, she quickly gained popularity with her work exhibited in multiple galleries. She gained many patrons from Gene Autry to Walt Disney. Some believe that her stylized deer paintings inspired the look of the film Bambi. By 1943, the Hopkins became involved in the Manhattan Project in Los Alamos. Otis, a gunsmith, worked on a team to develop the trigger for the atomic bomb, while Pop helped by babysitting children of the laboratory head scientist, J. Robert Oppenheimer. She was temporarily released from the service when in 1945, she was commissioned by Howard Hughes to paint several murals for the Albuquerque airport. With her second husband, Ed Lee Nate, Chalee traveled with the promotional tour for the film Annie Get Your Gun, hoping to educate against common stereotypes that existed about Native Americans. She gave many lectures on the subject throughout her life. In 1990, Chalee helped restore the 1945 murals during an airport renovation. Later that year, she received the New Mexico Governor's Award for Excellence in the Arts. In 1992, despite struggling with poor eyesight, she finished her last mural for the New Mexico State Capitol building. Chalee died a year later at the age of 87. Museums and galleries throughout the United States have sought to exhibit her captivating works, including the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. Her paintings can be found in many permanent collections, including the Gilcrease Museum, the Heard Museum, the Sunport Art Collection, and the Millicent Rogers Museum. Pop Chalee is now noted as an influential figure of the 20th century Native American arts movement. For allowing us to walk with her in her beautiful perspective of the West, we are proud to induct Pop Chalee into the National Cowgirl Hall of Fame.
Pop Chalee, the artist whose life is a work of art. Please join me in welcoming her grandson, Jack Cruz Hopkins Jr.
Boy, this is a big crowd. You know, I sort of feel like what Custer might have felt like. A little twist there. I helped write a book on my grandmother, a biography called The World of Flower Blue. And I did the dedication, and I'd like to present that. A dedication to my grandma, Pop. Anyone fortunate enough to have met Pop Chalee never forgot her. She was like a sparkling blue flower and a beautiful human being. Her love of life and her pursuit of beauty enhanced everyone she touched. Her Taos kins called her Marina. Her sisters called her Pinky. And her loyal subjects and followers called her Pop Chalee. To me, she was just Grandma Pop. I guess I never realized how lucky I was to be the grandson of a star. When you are a kid and you don't know any difference, I guess you think that everybody has a grandmother decked out in turquoise jewelry and Taos moccasins, a size 4. I suppose I didn't think much about her long braids that hung well below her waist, and she was as tiny as a kid and often played touch football and kicked the can with my buddies. My grandmother always wore a costume. Sometimes she wore a Navajo velvet dress, silver concho belt, beads, rings, and turquoise. I knew my grandmother was famous, and I knew that she was an artist. I grew up with her forest animals painted on the walls of our home. I can remember her dancing and singing to me and my brother. She told the greatest stories about being an Indian princess on the Santa Fe Railroad and about her family from Taos and the Navajo Nation. And she had great friends like Walt Disney, Chuck Connors, Red Ryder, and Gene Autry. Being a kid around my grandmother was never dull. She knew everybody, and wherever she went, it seemed like a party, and she would love to have been here. She seemed to know everyone, and, she had a great laugh, and we could always find her in a crowd by listening for her laugh. No one could laugh as loud as she could or clearly and shine brightly as my grandmother. My grandmother's philosophy on life was pure. The problems of her life were painted away. When I'm painting, she said, I go away. I get lost in the colors and the brush strokes. And afterwards, I always feel better. You have to walk in beauty, and if you do, the hurt doesn't hurt so bad. Although my grandmother had her ups and downs in her colorful career, her greatest moment and most enduring achievement was when she had her paintings of buffaloes and horses that were commissioned by Howard Hughes were moved from the old Albuquerque airport, restored and dedicated to the new. There they hang, greeting thousands of tourists, welcoming those of us who travel extensively. Every time I'd walk through the Great Hall at the airport, I always say, "Hi, Grandma. You live still. Pop Chalee, and the legacy you leave is the beauty that you painted. Somehow you managed to achieve the spiritual title of an ambassador of goodwill for the state of New Mexico. Forever, I'm proud to be a part of you."
Thank you so much, Jack Cruz Hopkins Jr. Congratulations on your grandmother's induction into the National Cowgirl Hall of Fame. in the Hall of Fame your grandmother still lives. We will enjoy this story. Congratulations, Jack.